Well, my talk today is something that just popped into my mind. And my title is Never, Ever Stop. Never, ever quit. Never, ever give up. And you know, I put that talk together and then this popped out on the web. And I thought it was a perfect example. No matter how dire you look at that frog's not quitting. And think about it, I think the frog's going to get out of that. I know it's a silly example, but isn't it not profound? Isn't it not profound? There's possibly no chance that that frog has any ability to get out of the mouth of that bird. And yet the frog found a way. It's not going to quit. That is a motto for living. One of the things that Ernest Holmes did is he wrote affirmations. And one of my favorite affirmations that Ernest Holmes used was, there is one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, that life is my life now. So break that down. There's only one. There's one life. We're saying it's God's life. It's the infinite's life. It is perfect. Everything in the life of the infinite is perfect. And you and I and everyone are creations out of the infinite, where the infinite is expressing itself through us. Therefore, if we are expressions of the infinite, we're a part of the one life. We're a part of the infinite's life. And we're part of the perfect life. It is in that embodiment, in that realization, that we find our truth. And here's what we know about the infinite. To the best of our ability, life is eternal. The infinite always was and always will be. If you and I are created out of the infinite, then we are eternal. We always will be. So if you're eternal, can you ever give up? Is it even possible? Or are you going to be going through eternity as an individualization and a creator? You know, this is something that I would like to say, I know. I know this is true, but I don't know. It's my belief. It's my belief what happens. Because I won't know until I die. And I'll either find out it's true, or I'll find out it's something different than what I believe it's true. But I'll find out then. But right now, the best that I have come up with is that it, the divine, the universe, God, is eternal. And I've divined that if it is eternal and it is infinite, then I am one with it. Therefore, if I'm one with it, I must be eternal. So I can't give up on life because I am life itself. And with God being eternal, the infinite being eternal, and I'm one with it, then I am one with it. And you see, if I am one with it, and it creates everything, then I'm a creator. I'm a creator on the microcosm level, not on the macrocosm level. I create my life experience. The universe, the infinite, creates the all experience. But I'm a creator, and so are you. So if I have the ability to create, and I discover how to use that ability to create, would I ever give up? Would it even really enter my mind? The only way it would enter my mind is if I didn't believe I had the ability to create. Here's what I know about my body. I believe that I'm able to go through all of my life and have my body serve me and do everything that I want to be able to do. A lot of people don't have that belief. But I've had that belief my entire life. And so I've lived a life that way. I've done the things, the eating, the drinking of water, the exercise, the relief of stress through meditation. So here I am, right now today, 70 years old, and I have zero limitations. I have zero physical handicaps. I need zero meds because I'm the creator of my body. Now, there are certain things I cannot create. I cannot, at least I don't have the belief I can create a full head of hair. I don't believe I can get rid of maybe the few wrinkles I have, just a very few wrinkles that I have. I don't believe that I can just immediately turn my hair back to the brown it was when I was a kid without pulling out a tube of dye. And I'm just going to tell you, I would never dye my hair. I just don't believe that a man dyeing his hair is very attractive. I just don't. But that's an opinion, again. But I am able to create a body that I know today, if it were open, if I had the opportunity, I could go to the Himalayas and hike in the Himalayas. I know that. I can do that. I know how strong I am. I know what the endurance I have is. And I am very young with that. I can do whatever I want. So I've consciously created my body. Here's the thing that I'll share with you. Am I a creator? Can I create things differently than they are? I haven't shared this story for a while, so I'll share it today. In the year 2000, I went to the doctor, and the doctor had a concern, and I had an MRI, and it was determined that I had a brain tumor. I had a small tumor the size of a BB. It was not malignant, it was benign, but the tumor would grow. It was called an acoustic neuroma. And the doctor said to me, you need to have surgery. You need to have brain surgery, where they go in, pop your head out, pop the top of your skull out, go into your brain, and they take the tumor out. I'm familiar with it because my father had that. I said, I was in panic initially, I want you to know. I was scared to death. And I said, if these principles work, can I get rid of that tumor? And so I went to the gentleman who was my mentor at the time, Reverend John. His last name escapes me right now. But he's a unity minister. And John said to me, Lee, meditate, visualize, and change your diet. Reverend John Webster was his name. And so I decided to take a year. And I meditated every day, twice a day. I became a vegan after doing research. I also visualized every day Pac-Man in my head eating the tumor up. 1 year after I was diagnosed with the acoustic neuroma, I went back and I had an MRI, and the tumor was gone. The doctor said, must be a mistake. Must be a mistake. And he looked at the prior MRI, he looked at this MRI, and he says, it's gone. I said, thank you. I got my affirmation. When I got that affirmation, I realized I am a creator, and I have powers that most people don't believe they have, and yet we all have them. But here's the key thing. You've got to really build belief. That's why I gave myself a year. I gave myself a year because I knew I needed time to build the belief that I could do what I'm doing. So I had to actually do the work while building the belief and then measure it to make sure I got the result. I don't like fooling myself. I don't like lying to myself. And sometimes in spirituality, we lie to ourselves. I believe prove everything for yourself. Don't believe Lee Wolak. Don't believe anything I say. Just because I've got the title Reverend, don't believe me. Prove it for yourself. Now you've got the proof. You are the person. You know you're a creator. What if you truly knew you were eternal and you could create? What would you do differently? What would you begin to do today? What would you let go of in your body? What would you let go of in your relationships? What would you let go of in your finances? What would you let go of in any aspect of life? If you knew you were eternal and you could create, knowing that you never, ever get to the end, you would just stay on course. Because it's deadlines, self-imposed deadlines, that cause us to feel that we're failures. It's doubting that we have the ability when we have the ability. I was told when I was in the corporate world and I was 40 years old that by the time I was 45, I would have a belly and I would not be in the physical shape that I am now, or I was then. I want you to know, I'm 30 years later, I'm in every bit as good a shape. In fact, I probably think I'm in better shape than I was when I was at 40. I chose not to believe what other people said. I chose to believe that I could create a body different than everyone else. You can do the same. I'm not an exception. I'm an example. We all have that same creative power in us. You see, we're always in the creative process, whether we really realize it or not. Our mind is always creating our experience, because what is our mind? Our mind is a camera that has a filter on it. That filter is our beliefs and our perceptions, and how the world comes to us depends on the filter, the belief and the perceptions that we've got in front of the lens of the camera. So if we understood that the creative process is based on the filter we put in front of the lens, we can control the lens that we put in front. And that, my friends, is our beliefs. And I've defined this so many times, but here we go again. Our beliefs are our thoughts, our words, our actions, and feelings aligned toward a specific result, held persistently and consistently, consciously and unconsciously. That's the filter which you see life. And if you want to know what filter you've got, just look at your life. What you see will tell you what you believe. You can't escape it. Your life will reflect back to you exactly what you believe at this time. And it takes time to change that process. But realize, you're creating 24/7, 365 for eternity. So what may seem impossible, it's not. You've got all the time and you've got all the power right where you are to do that. You see, we stop trying. We give up when we forget we're creators. And here's what I know is, when we're not creating, our soul, that infinite part of us, will release the body. The soul's purpose is expansion. Having a body, having an ego are for the purpose of expansion. When the body and the ego are no longer expanding, creating, the soul says, okay, I'm going to release the body and ego so I can go on with my journey. So why stop? I'm 70 years old and I truly believe I am just beginning my life. I'm actually in the process of completing my first book at 70. I don't see myself ever retiring. I see myself teaching with my very last breath. Because I know it's an eternal journey and I am doing what I love. The question I want to ask you is, have you discovered what you love? If you haven't, that's where you start. Figure out, no matter what age you are, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what sex you are, no matter what your experiences have been, figure out what you love and do it. Never, ever, ever give up. Be the frog. No matter what's happening to you, know that the frog in you will find a way.